Good evening, everyone. I'm here for another episode of our NASCAR talk on a Monday night following the opening of the NASCAR season with the Daytona 500, finishing up Speed Week down there. It is the biggest race in NASCAR. It starts the season, which is kind of weird, but it's how it's always been. So, we're going to jump into it and kind of go through what went on this week. Go through, as we'll go through every week, our recap of the previous weekend's race on Monday. And then we'll jump into something, a little bit of the point standings on Monday following the race, knowing that the top 16 at the end of the first 26 races go into the chase format for the championship. So we'll jump right into it. It was a good speed week. A lot of times here lately in the recent years, especially with the next gen car, or Gen 7 car, whatever you prefer to call it, it seems like on the super speedways, the Fords seem to dominate the qualifying and all that, and we are now starting to see more of it spread out. It wasn't one group, it wasn't one manufacturer, it wasn't one team, it was just spread out. So we'll get into a little bit of it, what went on here. We'll jump into stage one. As I've mentioned on my NASCAR for Beginners podcasts, NASCAR's races are broken into three stages. Stage 1, 2, and 3. The only one that's different is the Coke 600, which is broken up into 4. We'll get into that later on as we get closer to that race. So stage 1 was kind of just, stage 1. I mean, it was just kind of, they rolled along. You had an incident on lap 8. Some cars chose to pit, some didn't. It was really, really crazy. The cars that did pit, a couple of them stretched their fuel for the whole time, which was an amazing stretch of fuel. Others that didn't, had to pit later. So it kind of shuffled everything around. And people like Zane Smith, Austin Cindric, Ryan Blaney, those were the top 3 Fords right there in stage 1. They stretched it on fuel. It was really, really, really impressive. Not a whole lot in stage 1. Stage 1 is normally pretty calm due to it's the beginning of the race, and obviously to win the race, you have to be there at the end. So that was how stage 1, was mostly that one incident and then some fuel mileage to push it to the end. Stage 2 was a little more back and forth. You had a few different leaders, which I found out today that throughout the race, you had 25 different teams lead. Spot on my computer, sorry. 25 different people led the race. So that's pretty impressive when you think there was 41 cars starting, so only 16 people didn't lead. But stage 2 kind of rolled along, did its own little thing. You could tell it was amping up a little more. Not quite full-blown Daytona chaos, but still had a few incidents that caused a couple cars to collect some damage. Came down to it. Bubba Wallace actually won stage 2. Ryan Blaney finished second in then that stage, along with third in the first stage. And so you get points for top 10 positions in the 2 stages. So, Blaney scored 17 points alone for just the stage racing. So it's kind of crazy because he scored 17 points there. And in the race, he wound up scoring like 27 in the whole race, actually. So he only scored really 10 in the event. So that was a little odd when you think about it. He actually scored more points in the stages than he did in the race. So just a little odd stage 2. Like I said, it ramped up a little bit, had a few little incidents, nothing too crazy. You did see stuff like, which I thought was pretty cool throughout the first couple stages. You would see cars come from the back to the front, cars that normally, aren't some of the better cars. Cody Ware drives the number 51 for Rick Ware Racing. He was up front. You saw Cole Custer up front for a while from the Haas factory team. BJ McLeod and his own team was up there. It's kind of fun to see those, and really you only see those on the super speedways where anybody can pretty much get near the front if you catch the right line at the right time. You don't necessarily see it so much on the other tracks with them up front leading, normally, unless there's some cautions and they stay out, things like that. But so it's pretty neat to see some of the smaller teams be up front, get mentioned more. Just my take on that on stage 2. The final stage, crazy. You had at one point 3 Toyotas running the top spots, blocking all 3 lanes, controlling the race, which is how it normally turns into in Daytona, is a fuel mileage race, because obviously the less fuel you burn, the less time you have to spend on pit road filling up for the end of the race. So you saw them running, and at one point they were running like 50, 45 to anywhere between 45 to 60% throttle leading the race, but yet they're still doing like 185 miles an hour. So just the draft is what creates all that kind of stuff. You had a couple of bigger incidents, especially near the end. The green flag pit cycle had pretty much ended. Michael McDowell was stretching it and hoping for a caution, hoping, and he got it. And when he got the caution, he was going to go ahead and try to stretch it to the end of the race. So he needed that caution to save as much fuel as possible, because you can shut the engine off and just kind of coast and then fire it up. And so he got to the lead because he hadn't pitted. He was the only car that hadn't pitted yet. Some cars that had just pitted were trapped way back in traffic, kind of one thing that happened to Blaney and stuff. They got just mired back in traffic. So we got that one done. We lined it up for a restart with 3 or 4 to go, and had another incident on the backstretch after the white flag, or coming to the white flag. I have to go back and rewatch. Don't remember exactly. I don't remember if they were coming to the white flag, or if I think that was on the white flag lap. And there was an incident on the backstretch, and instead of throwing the caution because the leaders were already near the front, they wound up just letting them race back, and it got wild. Coming around turn 4, you still didn't know who was going to win yet. And then you had Riley Herbst push somebody, bumped the wall, wind up hitting Chase Elliott, who then hit Logano, who tried to go low. Both those cars wrecked. They still went across the start-finish line, so their position counts. But it wound up Tyler Reddick just pushed. He was gone. Riley Herbst is his teammate. He had given him a push, and Tyler Reddick was gone. He was just out there. So when the wreck happened, he was clear of it. In your finishing of the race, you had, I'm just going to run through the top 10 with y'all. So your top 10 wound up being Tyler Reddick, obviously, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who was involved in the wreck also, but still made it across the finish line in second. Logano third, Chase Elliott 4, Brad Keselowski 5, Zane Smith 6, Chris Buescher 7, Riley Herbst 8th, Josh Berry 9th, and Bubba Wallace finished in 10th. So 2, 3, 4. Out of the top 10, and I'm going to try to keep track of this throughout the year just to see which manufacturer scores the most top 10s throughout the year. I know the manufacturer points and the owner points are done different through NASCAR, but I'm not going to track all that. So as of right now, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Fords in the top 10, 3 Toyotas, and 2 Chevrolets. So I guess I could have done the math quicker, but so, you know, at the end, like I had mentioned earlier, Fords seem to be really, really good on these super speedways. May not lead the most laps all the time. Sometimes they do. But they always seem to be right there. And you had Joey Logano from Team Penske. And I'm a Ford follower, so I'm going to focus more on them. Logano from Penske, Keselowski from RFK Racing, Zane Smith from Front Row, Chris Buescher from RFK Racing, and Josh Berry from the Wood Brothers, my driver. So, good mix. Even the others, the team that did the best in the whole thing to me has got to be 2311 Racing. Tyler Reddick drives for them, who came in first. Riley Herbst came in 8th, and Bubba Wallace came in 10th. Plus, Bubba Wallace had won stage 2. So, it was a really, really, really good day for 2311, the Fords, and this was a pretty good race. I'm not going to lie. I've got a poll up on my YouTube page. People can vote on. Just kind of curious what people have to say. But yeah, to me, it was a really good race. I know I've seen polls on other sites where it was kind of 75% good race. I enjoyed it. I don't like the fuel saving aspect of it, but I get it. Denny Hamlin has come out since then and said he's been talking to NASCAR about we need to do something to either increase the speed of the cars or do something to keep them more spread out. And some of the crew chiefs have said that's fine, but what they don't want is they don't want what used to happen at Daytona, where you'd have 27 cars just in a single file line riding around, nobody really doing anything. They don't want that. This, you have comers, you have goers. I mean, if your guy falls to the back, like Josh Berry fell a lap down, got his lap back, and finished 9th. You're not going to really get that if everybody just stays in a line around the top of the racetrack like it used to be. So there's pluses and minuses, and the crew chiefs even straight up said, we can increase the speed all we want. We're going to figure out a way to make the fuel mileage and to manipulate whatever we need to make our pit stop shorter. 2 seconds in a pit stop is, you know, sometimes the difference in winning and losing on these super speedways. To tell you, if Tyler Reddick loses 2 seconds on a pit stop at the end of the race, he finishes in 11th place. The top 10 cars were all within 2 seconds of each other. So take it for what it is. I mean, these crew chiefs are so smart, these engineers and they're going to figure out what they need to do. We ran through the top 10 finishers. This is from the strangest I've ever seen from Daytona Speed Weeks. And for people that don't understand, it's not just the Daytona race. It's Wednesday's qualifying, Thursday's dual races. Practice is even involved with this because there's been incidents in practice before. But in the race itself, 37 of the 41 cars had some sort of damage. That's insane. But the weirdest fact was Josh Berry, and it's crazy that it worked out after if you go back and watch the beginning of the playoffs last year. I even made the comment on the Wood Brothers Racing Twitter feed that somebody had said the stat I'm fixing to give y'all, and I said, well, he used them all up in the first round of the playoffs last year, so we should be good to go. He was the only car throughout the whole week to not be involved in any incident. So one car in the whole week did not get any incidents at all. And that's just insane to me. And if you're curious why, I was mentioning last year, when the playoffs started last year, Josh Berry was in it. And the first 3 races of the playoffs, he finished in last because he had some sort of incident in every race. So that's why I made the comment to him that he must have hopefully he used up all of his incidents last year. But that was just the craziest stat line I saw literally ever. And I doubt you'll ever see it again. And, I'm not going to even tell you that it hasn't happened before, but I've never seen it happen before. So, as we all know, if you've been following my channel and stuff, there's the changes that have been made to the playoff format where we're not doing well. It was the playoff format. It's now called the Chase. And it's the final 10 races of the season. Used to be if you win a race, you get locked into the playoffs. So as of right now, Tyler Reddick would technically be in the playoffs last year. Not the case this year. Now you have to be in the top 16 in points after the 26th race. So every Monday, we're going to give these point standings. And I'll say this with an asterisk for every Monday. There is inspections and tech stuff that goes on after the races. And if a team is found to have cheated, there will be penalties, and NASCAR will normally release those on Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday. So, and then there's an appeal process that if the team wants to, but here nor there on that right now. So as of right now, this is where we stand. Let's just say that Joey Logano gets deemed to have a bad window or something's not right with anything on the car that is a penalty. They could deduct points from him, and then we got to go from there. So right now, your leader in the point standings is Tyler Reddick, which you would think that's going to be automatic since he won the race. It's not so much, because had Joey Logano won the other 2 stages, then Joey Logano would have been right with him. Actually, he still would have been behind, but by 2 points. So how we're going to do it is I'm going to give you the leader, and then we'll go down and I'll break down how many points behind the leader is. So Tyler Reddick is first. He has 58 points. Joey Logano is second with 46. So 12 points behind. Chase Elliott, 43 with 15 points behind. Zane Smith, 41 points, minus 17 to the leader. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., 39 with 19. Brad Keselowski, 39, 19 points behind. Chris Buescher, same, 39, 19 points behind. Bubba Wallace, 37, 21 points behind. Carson Hocevar, 36, 22 points behind. Ryan Blaney, 36, 22 points behind. Riley Herbst, 35, 23 points behind. Daniel Suarez, 35, 23 behind. Josh Berry's in 13th place, 33 points, 25 behind. Kyle Busch, 29, 29 behind. Kyle Larson, 29, 29 behind. And Noah Gragson right now would be the last one in the playoffs with 27 points, 31 points behind the leader. On the bubble, the next few, Michael McDowell would be out by 1 point. William Byron's out by 2. John Hunter Nemechek is out by 2. Ty Dillon would be out by 4. That's your top 20. And there's some big names down this list. William Byron being out of the playoffs is big. Ross Chastain would be out if it ended right now. Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, all of them would be out of the playoffs. And 3 of them were in the championship 4 last year. So pretty crazy after date. But again, it's 1 out of 25 more races to go out of 26. So long way to go. But I just think it'll be neat to kind of see the movement of who goes up and down based on week to week. Last thing we're going to get into is the fantasy and fan rewards update. Got my fantasy, team. Daytona, I don't really take too much stock into it because it's a super speedway and it's hard to gauge who's going to be in a wreck and who's not. So I just kind of, whatever. With Daytona, Talladega, and even Atlanta, well, Echo Park now. But I don't really put too much stock in trying to figure out who's going to win or whatever on those. But the fantasy team was pretty, it's just one of those things. There is one out there on the WTP Sports Dudes. There's pages and all that, and on the YouTube version, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll notice there's some links down in the bottom that I've posted. I'm going to try to post the couple of race teams that are finishing in the top 10 every week. Just so people maybe that are new to the sport want to go look at the race team and kind of read about it. Maybe they want to get into it and find a team, and maybe one of those is who they like. So I'm going to post those in there every week. I'm also going to post a link to NASCAR.com. And there's also a link to the fantasy group we have that I've created in there. So that's on there as well. So, this week's links, you have the NASCAR, the fantasy, you have 2311 Racing, you have RFK, you have Wood Brothers. Not even sure if I put another one in there. I might have. I don't even remember, to be honest. So that's on the YouTube page. I also am attempting, I don't know if it's working or not, to put this on Facebook, like a live stream on Facebook as we're doing this. Don't know if it's working or not. If there's anybody watching out there, if you're on Facebook, if you'd let me know if it's working, or whatever you can do. I mean, it'd be great to know. So the fan rewards I've also mentioned. You can get to that through the NASCAR.com link I posted. That is where you can get your free stuff, man. Free tickets, free merchandise, autographed merchandise, all kinds of stuff. Experiences, wave the green flag at a race, garage tours. It's all out there. So, and it's easy. I mean, literally, it's the easiest thing you can do. All you have to check into races, set up a fantasy team. You do this stuff every week. And, well, we're in race 1, and I'm sitting at almost 700 points already. You need 5,000 for race tickets. So that's not the count. You get two trivia questions every week, Tuesday and Thursday. You on Wednesday get a free spin in the little Powerball that gives you points. It doesn't give you a lottery ticket or anything, but it gives you points. So, I mean, there's so many different ways to earn so many points. And if you're catching up with this for the first time, you can go look at past channel on my YouTube channel. You'll go if you go back through the lives, you'll start with NASCAR for beginners and just work your way through, and it'll explain all of this to you. I've shared my screen. I've clicked on everything to walk people through. I'll answer any questions if you have any. But it is the easiest sport in the big sports in America to get free stuff to. It's the best fan experience. It's the best. I just think it's the best overall experience. They care about what their fans think and what their fans want, and that's different than most other sports. The other big thing I found out of this, and I was pretty glad to see this too. Not a big supporter of the Toyota racing team. Like I said, I pull for the Fords. But seeing Michael Jordan win the Daytona 500 is pretty cool. Not going to lie. Especially when you consider, Michael's like 6'6", and the guy driving the race car is like this tall. He's like 5'2" or something. He's small. It's standing next to Michael Jordan is just hilarious. But seeing Michael Jordan, you can tell the dude's just a competitor. His smile was just like he had won the NBA championship again. And he even said so much. He said, this feels just like winning an NBA championship to me. He was super excited, having a blast. You can see videos of him in Victory Lane if you can find it. Tyler Reddick, who won, his son is there, and Jordan's playing with his leg, tickling him and stuff. Just having fun. You can tell he actually loves the sport. Yeah, he's a team owner. He loves the sport. He loves being an owner. He loves, it's hard to explain somebody from outside that is so well known for basketball that he is just enamored. He'll tell you he's been a lifelong race fan. He's loved racing since he was growing up. So to me, it was really cool to see Jordan in Victory Lane. I've mentioned how, if you go, there's another version of the Daytona recap that talks about the truck series, a little bit of the O'Reilly series. So go check them out. Go watch them. We've got tons of content with our group here, our WTP sports dudes. You see them all scrolling along the bottom. I mean, you've got WTP for life. You've got Joe Moss, who does a bunch of interviews with different people, especially around the Columbus market. But if you're an athlete and you want to have a sit down and explain yourself and your sport and what you're doing, jump on. All you got to do, the info's down at the bottom. Send a comment. I believe Moss has his all his stuff in there. I think he's got his phone number in there for some reason. I'm not real sure. But One Take Zaya, who has rebranded himself here, and he's starting kind of doing some stuff. Moss is actually Level Up Sports 10. But there's his phone number, yeah, and his email. All that's right there. You can reach him if you want to do a conversation with him. We've got Postgame, who runs his Postgame 86 podcast, does a lot of stuff with especially basketball, a big Notre Dame guy there. You got T1, who runs City League TV. They go around all the Columbus area. I mean, these dudes are out there reffing, videoing, giving these kids, I don't know, a stream or a place to be seen, broadcasting games and stuff. You got, man, I know I'm missing somebody here. I'm trying to scroll back through. I'm trying to remember. You got man, who am I missing? And I feel like an idiot right now. Of course, I'm on there. SEC Sean rolling across. I do a lot of the NASCAR talk. I'll do some hockey talk. SEC stuff. I got some basketball. I'm going to do some SEC basketball. SEC baseball's coming up. Parlay Poe, that's another one I'm missing with the Blitzburg podcast. We're all scrolling. Go like, subscribe, hit the little notification bell. Y'all help us out. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to like it. Go like the videos for sure. Just helps us out. Keep it rolling. We're literally just a bunch of guys who like ball and sports, and we talk about it all. Doesn't matter what it is. Basketball, baseball, hockey, football. We'll talk anything, but most of my stuff is going to be geared NASCAR and a lot of the SEC, baseball, basketball. Obviously the name, but I'll talk any other sport. I keep up with them all. So, um, I hope y'all all enjoyed it. I hope anybody that watched Daytona for the first time enjoyed it. We have another one of these coming up. It'll be, I'm going to say Wednesday. Could be Wednesday, maybe Friday, but I'm really not trying to do Friday with NASCAR stuff because a lot of times there's a race Friday and there's qualifying. So we'll play that by ear. But this week will probably be Wednesday. This week we're going to, as the aforementioned Echo Park Speedway in Atlanta. I always try to keep up with the weather too, as I've mentioned. NASCAR is at the mercy of Mother Nature in the weather and the rain. So we can't race in the pouring rain, and we won't race on the super speedways in the wet. On the small short tracks and the road courses, we do have wet weather tires. We will put those on and race when it's damp, not a driving rainstorm. But we're going to Echo Park, which is similar to Daytona and Talladega. It is considered a super speedway now with the reconfiguration. So if you watch Daytona, I want you to realize that watching Atlanta is even more intense because Atlanta is the same style of pack racing. Everybody's bunched together, but it's a mile shorter of a track. It's a 1.5 mile track versus a 2.5 miles. So a lot more action. This was the opening race of the in-season bracket last year, and literally on I might have even been lap 1 or 2. One of the first laps of the race, like 20 cars were wrecked, and it just broke everybody's bracket. Which, look, if you've done brackets for the basketball tournament for college, you've had your bracket busted a few times. So it's just one of those things that the first 2 races are insane to me, just because of how they race. We will be going into it Wednesday. I'm going to lay out the schedule for the whole week. You got all 3 series racing again this weekend. So we're going to walk through when it's on, where it's on, just so everybody knows where to find it. And normally I'll try to jump on a Saturday, maybe, and do a truck series recap, set the stage for O'Reilly's, and also run through the lineup for qualifying for NASCAR. So we'll just have to play it by when the schedule is. I don't have the schedule in front of me, and I do know there's some rain in the forecast for Atlanta this coming weekend. Yeah, I'm in the building, brother. Was hoping some of y'all would jump on with me, so we can have some discussion back and forth, and y'all could ask some questions. That's what we're here for, to get some more discussion and more views. And it's a lot easier when some people are on here because, y'all can ask some questions and I can answer them for you, and we can get some more people rolling and see what we can go. Just makes it a lot shorter when it's just one person in here by themselves having to just talk about stuff, which is fine. I don't mind. I love bringing the world of NASCAR to people. If for some reason you catch us and you wanted to watch the Daytona 500 and you missed it, all you got to do is get on your TV, computer, go to YouTube, type in NASCAR Daytona 500 2026, and there'll be races, there'll be replays on there. Some of the replays are really great because they have no commercials. Some have the full commercials, but that's kind of the cool thing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There's numerous times the race happens, and if it's a really good race, I'll watch it again the next day or two, just to kind of watch and kind of see if anything I missed. Didn't do that today. Didn't really feel like I needed to. It was Daytona. Like I said, Daytona is just Daytona. It's just something different. Daytona, Talladega. Yeah, MJ with the win. I'm telling you. It was cool to see, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe now we can stop the MJ versus LeBron, who's the GOAT, because now MJ has a Cup Series win, or a few of them. LeBron doesn't have any wins in NASCAR. Jordan does. Daytona 500 was crazy. It was. It wasn't as crazy as it has been in past years, to be honest with you. But it was crazy. The ending is always crazy. Let me just be point blank. During the broadcast, Mike Joy, the broadcaster on Fox, was even stating at different times, like in 2007 when Kevin Harvick won with 20 laps to go, he was 16th. And then, there was when so-and-so won it, they were 30th with 25 laps to go. And Daytona, you just don't know. All you got to do is be near the front coming off of turn 4, and you've got a shot. But there's always wrecks, big ones, some small ones. Sometimes cars just spin by themselves. But you're always going to have at least one pretty big wreck. Same with this coming week over at Echo Park, which is hard for me. I keep wanting to call it Atlanta because that's what it was for every year until last year. So it's the same this weekend, same style, same crazy. He hasn't got the championship yet, but he did take Daytona. And there's drivers out there that'll tell you some will tell you they want Daytona more than a championship, and some will tell you they want both. And, but everybody wants the championship for sure. But they like Daytona is just Daytona. And it's the biggest spectacle I'm not going to say it's the biggest race in the world, because the Indy 500 is huge. F1 does their Monaco Grand Prix, which is huge. But it's the start of the season, and it's your biggest race, and everybody knows what it is. Like moving forward, if Tyler Reddick never wins a championship, he will always be introduced as Tyler Reddick, 2026 Daytona 500 winner. Forever. He will always be considered a Daytona 500 winner. And sometimes that's good enough to get you into the Hall of Fame based on how many other wins you have, whether you win a championship or not. You win a couple of Daytonas, you're probably going to get in. So I don't know what else we can really bring up except we're rolling. We 1 week down, 25 in the regular season before we start the chase. It's gonna be interesting. That's for sure. You're gonna have movers and comers and goers and shakers, and we're gonna see how this season plays out. Really, really, really looking forward to when we get to some of the shorter tracks. When we get to finally see that 750 horsepower engine at work, and then see if that does anything. So, as I mentioned already, like, subscribe, get notification bell on so you know when we're going live. I know we'll be going live tomorrow. 7:45 is normally the Tuesday, Thursday start times, Eastern time. Don't know what's on the agenda for tomorrow yet, but I'm sure something. And of course, I should be on Wednesday. Friday is kind of does anybody want to do something day? We'll get something going on Friday, and Saturday and Sunday we go in the mornings. So we'll figure out something to do with Fridays. Just because it's kind of crazy right now because hockey's on break because of the Olympics. So once hockey gets cranked back up, you got college basketball. We'll get some stuff going for y'all on Fridays. And if there's something y'all want us to talk about, drop a comment. We'll throw it into one of our Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday shows. Just drop us a comment. We'll bring it up and we'll talk about it. So most definitely, everybody go enjoy the rest of your Monday night. I'm going to go, I guess, flip on some basketball. Either that or go watch Daytona again. I will say, if you go watch Daytona, go try to watch the Craftsman Truck Series race from Friday night. That was insane. That was way more insane than the end of the Cup Series. So, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, go have a good Monday, and we'll hope to catch you on the next one we do for NASCAR and whatever. So, don't be a stranger. Have a good night.